The red dirt road stretched endless ahead, shimmering in the brutal January heat like a mirage that refused to quit. Drive. Liam Hartley kept one hand loose on the wheel of his battered old ute, the other wiping sweat from his brow. 3 hours out of Adelaide and the city's fluorescent-lit operating theatres already felt like another lifetime. He'd booked the weekend at a mate's empty shearer's hut near Wattle Creek for one reason only: silence. No pages, no beeping monitors, no families staring at him with hollow, hopeful eyes while he tried to stitch lives back together. Just a cold beer, a swag under the stars, and maybe the chance to forget the little girl he couldn't save last week on the table. The engine growled as he pushed the speed up, chasing the horizon. Then, out of nowhere, a flash of movement, small, frantic, cut across the scrub. A kid, barefoot and streaked with dust, burst onto the road waving both arms like she was flagging down a plane. Liam stamped the brake hard. The ute fishtailed, kicking up a choking cloud of red that swallowed them both. He leaned out the window. "You right, little mate." She didn't answer straight away. Just stood there panting, chest heaving under a faded pink t-shirt 2 sizes too big. 10 years old, maybe 11, hair tangled with burrs, eyes huge and shining wet. "Oi, mister," she finally got out, voice cracking. "You a doctor? A real one?" Liam's stomach tightened. Something in her tone wasn't just scared, it was desperate, the kind of desperate that lived in the quiet country towns where people didn't call for help until it was almost too late. "Yeah, love. I'm a surgeon. What's happened?" She swallowed hard, glancing back toward the thick line of acacias like she expected something to come charging through. "It's me mum. She's hurt real bad. Dad, her voice broke off. Tears carved clean tracks down her filthy cheeks. "Please. She won't wake up proper. You gotta come quick." The isolation hit him then, sharp as a scalpel. No phone signal out here most days, nearest hospital 200 k's away, and the sun already sliding toward afternoon. He could drive on, pretend he hadn't seen her. But those eyes, pleading, trusting, terrified, locked onto his, and something inside him cracked open. He killed the engine, grabbed his battered medical kit from the passenger seat, and stepped down into the furnace heat. "Lead the way, kid." She didn't hesitate, turned and bolted back into the scrub, skinny legs pumping. Liam followed, boots crunching over dry twigs and spinifex, heart thudding louder than it had any right to. The air smelled of hot metal and eucalyptus, thick enough to chew. Every few steps he glanced around, half expecting trouble to step out from the shadows of the trees. Behind him the ute sat alone on the empty road, engine ticking as it cooled. Ahead lay whatever waited in the tin-roofed shack, and whatever had put the fear so deep into that little girl's bones that she'd run onto a stranger's path and begged for help. Liam tightened his grip on the kit. Whatever came next, he already knew one thing for certain: this weekend wasn't going to be quiet after all. The girl's small hand slipped into Liam's as they pushed through the last tangle of dry acacias, her grip surprisingly fierce for such a skinny kid. The shack appeared like a bad dream, corrugated iron roof rusted to a dull red, sagging under its own weight, walls patched with mismatched tin and tarp. A couple of old car tires lay abandoned in the yard, half buried in dust. Flies swarmed in thick clouds, drawn by the smell of something sour and wrong. She shoved the creaky door open with her shoulder. "In here, mister, quick." Inside, the air hit like a slap, stale, thick with the stink of spilled beer, cigarette smoke, and something metallic that Liam recognized instantly: blood. The single room was dim, lit only by cracks of harsh sunlight slicing through gaps in the tin. A sagging couch, a formica table littered with empty stubbies and ashtrays overflowing with butts. On the cracked lino floor lay the woman, crumpled on her side, one arm twisted awkwardly beneath her. Liam dropped to his knees beside her, medical kit clattering open. She was maybe mid-30s, face swollen, lip split, fresh bruises blooming purple across her cheekbone and jaw. A dark stain spread from the back of her head, concussion, possible skull fracture. Her breathing was shallow, ragged. He checked her pulse, thready but there. "What's her name?" he asked the girl softly. "Sharon. Everyone calls her Shaz." The kid hovered close, voice barely above a whisper. "Dad, he got on the grog last night. She told him to stop yellin', and he just lost it. Threw her against the wall. Said she'd learn to keep her mouth shut." Liam's jaw clenched so hard his teeth ached. He'd seen this story too many times in the city, women airlifted in with black eyes and broken ribs, always with the same quiet excuse: fell down the stairs. But out here in the deep scrub, there were no stairs, no neighbors to hear the screams. Just endless red dirt and silence that swallowed everything. He worked fast, cervical collar from the kit, gentle pressure to staunch the head wound, checking pupils, unequal, bad sign. We need to get her to hospital, love. She's bleeding inside the skull, maybe. The girl nodded, tears tracking fresh paths through the dust on her face. He'll be back soon. He went to get more piss from the servo. As if summoned, heavy boots crunched on the gravel outside. The door banged open, letting in a blast of furnace heat and the silhouette of a big man, broad shoulders, beer gut straining his stained footy singlet, eyes bloodshot and mean. He reeked of sweat and VB. Who the bloody hell are you? He slurred, swaying slightly. Get out of my house, ya city prick. Liam didn't stand. He kept pressure on the wound, voice steady as steel. I'm the surgeon trying to stop your wife from dying, mate. This isn't a fall. This is you putting hands on her. Again, by the look of it. The man's face twisted into a snarl. The girl shrank back against the wall, small body trembling. Tension crackled in the air like dry lightning, every breath felt loaded, every second stretching thin. Liam met the drunk's glare head-on, heart slamming against his ribs. One wrong move and this could turn ugly fast. But he wasn't leaving. Not now. Not with those terrified eyes watching him from the corner. The big man, Ray, the girl had whispered his name earlier, filled the doorway like a storm cloud rolling in off the desert. His singlet clung to his sweat-slicked gut, the faded Bulldog's logo stretched tight across his chest. He swayed, bottle of Bundy rum dangling from thick fingers, eyes narrowed to slits as they flicked from Liam kneeling on the floor to the bloodied woman, then to his daughter pressed against the far wall. Get the fuck out of my house, Ray growled, voice thick with grog and menace. This ain't your business, Doc. Liam didn't move. His right hand stayed pressed firm against Sharon's head wound, the other resting near the open medical kit, close enough to the heavy trauma scissors if it came to that. His pulse hammered in his ears, steady surgeon's rhythm fighting the adrenaline spike. She's got a bleed on the brain, mate. If she doesn't get to hospital soon, she might not wake up. You want that on you? Ray barked a laugh that had no humor in it. She'll be right. Always is. Just needs to learn when to shut her gob. He took a lurching step forward, boots scuffing the lino. The girl, Jess, Liam had finally learned her name, let out a tiny whimper, sliding lower behind the couch. Every second felt like it was carved from glass. Liam could smell the rum on Ray's breath from across the room, could see the vein throbbing in the man's thick neck. One swing of that bottle and it was over. Liam wasn't built for brawling, not with fists anyway. But he'd stitched up enough blokes after pub fights to know how fast things could turn fatal. You touch me, Liam said quietly, and the cops'll have more than one body to deal with. I've already told dispatch where I am. They're tracking my phone. Bluff, mostly. Signal was patchy out here, but the threat landed. Ray hesitated, eyes darting to the girl. Jess's small hand crept under the table, fingers brushing the old Nokia she'd hidden there earlier. Liam caught the movement, her thumb hovering over the call button, 000 already dialed. Ray saw it too. His face darkened. You little rat. He lunged, not at Liam, but toward Jess. Time stretched thin as razor wire. Liam surged up, shoulder checking Ray hard enough to send the bigger man stumbling sideways into the table. Stubbies crashed to the floor, glass shattering. Ray roared, swinging wild, the rum bottle whistling past Liam's ear. In the chaos, Jess pressed send. The faint, tinny sound of an emergency operator crackled from the phone, police, fire or ambulance, and Ray froze, realization hitting like cold water. Sirens were still a long way off, but the sound of them was already in Liam's head, distant, coming, inevitable. He stood between Ray and the women, chest heaving, blood on his hands that wasn't his own. It's done, mate, he said, voice low and final. You're finished. Ray's shoulders sagged, the fight bleeding out of him as the first faint wail of sirens carried across the scrub. The girl ran to her mother's side, sobbing openly now, while Liam knelt again to keep pressure on the wound. Outside, the sun kept burning, indifferent. Inside, the air tasted of fear, blood, and the slow, sweet promise of justice finally waking up. The first siren cut through the heavy Outback silence like a knife, distant at first, then louder, insistent, closing in fast. 2 patrol cars skidded into the yard, gravel spraying, lights flashing red and blue across the rusted tin walls. 4 coppers piled out, hands on holsters, barking orders. Ray stood frozen in the middle of the wrecked room, rum bottle still dangling from his fingers, the fight drained out of him the second he heard that wail. On the ground, now. The sergeant roared, a wiry bloke with a salt and pepper beard and eyes that had seen too many of these calls. Ray didn't argue. He dropped to his knees, bottle rolling away, hands up. Cuffs clicked shut behind his back as two officers hauled him outside. He didn't look at Jess or Sharon again, just stared at the red dirt like it might swallow him whole. Liam stayed kneeling by Sharon, keeping pressure on the wound while the paramedics, finally, burst in with their gear. They moved like a well-oiled machine. Neck brace, oxygen mask, IV line, careful lift onto the stretcher. Sharon's eyelids fluttered once, her fingers twitched toward Jess. The girl clung to her mother's hand the whole way out, whispering, "You're gonna be okay, Mum." The doc fixed it. As the ambulance roared off toward the distant highway, the sergeant turned to Liam, wiping sweat from his brow. "Good thing the kid rang 000 when she did. We've been after this prick for years, neighbors too scared to talk, Sharon always denying it. You sticking around to make a statement?" Liam nodded, throat tight. Every bloody detail. Weeks later, the courtroom in Port Augusta smelled of polished wood and old coffee. Ray sat in the dock, head down, looking smaller than he had in that shack. The magistrate listened to Liam's testimony, calm, precise, unflinching, then to the medical reports, the years of hospital records Sharon had finally let surface, the terrified voice message Jess had kept hidden on her phone for months. When the sentence came down, 7 years, no parole for the first 4, plus a lifetime AVO, the room exhaled. Ray's shoulders slumped as they led him away. Outside, the sun was setting over the Flinders Ranges, painting the sky bloody red. Jess and Sharon waited on the courthouse steps. Sharon, still bruised but walking unaided now, hair starting to grow back over the shaved patch, hugged Liam hard enough to crack ribs. "You didn't have to stay," she whispered. "But you did." Jess looked up at him, eyes bright and fierce. "You're a proper hero, Doc Liam." He ruffled her hair, throat too thick to answer straight away. "Nah, little mate. You're the one who saved the day. That phone call, that was the real guts." Driving back to Adelaide that night, the Utes' headlights cutting through the dark, Liam felt something shift inside him, lighter, maybe, for the first time in years. Justice wasn't always clean or quick in the bush, but today it had arrived, fair dinkum and final, carried on the back of a scared kid's courage and a stranger's choice to stop and listen.